For centuries, the idea of finding frozen things in the ice has fascinated humans. The ability to perfectly preserve something and stop it from naturally decomposing, just so hundreds of years later somebody can find it, is pretty cool. Sometimes though, having this window into the past isn't necessarily as fun as some may hope. What is good, my friends? I'm your host Nicholas Playlog, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the top 5 terrifying things found frozen in ice. Let's get into it. Number 5 on this list is the C124 Crash. To be exact, the incident is typically referred to as the 1952 Mount Gannett C124 crash. It was the tragic accident of a Douglas C124 Globemaster military transport airplane. This airplane was flying over Alaska when it crashed into Mount Gannett, killing all 52 people on board. The crash happened in some extreme Alaskan weather. The weather was so extreme and dangerous that the rescue attempts had to be postponed by 3 days, effectively killing any chance anybody had at survival if they did manage to survive the initial impact of the crash. After the weather subsided enough for search parties and rescue teams to go out looking, they were able to find some of the wreckage sticking out of the snow close to the summit of the mountain. This was only the tail section of the plane though, and they couldn't locate the rest of it. It was believed that the plane was going at full speed, couldn't see based on the horrible weather conditions, and crashed directly into the top of the mountain. This exploded the airplane and meant that debris was scattered all over the mountain. The families of those who were lost were told that they wouldn't be able to recover their loved ones' remains and that they would have to perform a funeral without the actual body. This remained the case until in 2012 when they started to find more debris. A helicopter was flying over the area when they spotted a yellow rescue raft. They checked it out and they found a bunch more of the remains of the airplane. This was roughly 14 miles away from where they thought the plane had initially crashed, so they think that it floated down a river and then froze where they found it. The remains of 17 dead were found frozen in the ice, which I can only imagine was an incredibly morbid and unsettling sight. What is potentially even more scary is that the current count of identified bodies recovered is 40, which means that there are still 12 other bodies frozen somewhere in Alaska that have yet to be found. Number 4 on this list is a reindeer carcass. Now, a reindeer doesn't sound too scary. In fact, reindeer are quite beautiful creatures that are generally loved. The reindeer that was found in the ice, though, was carrying something extremely deadly. Anthrax is defined by Google as a serious bacterial disease of sheep and cattle, causing acute and often fatal septicemia and also transmissible to humans. Anthrax is so deadly that it has even been weaponized before and used to attack humans. The reindeer that was in the ice was carrying this disease, and when it thawed out the disease that had been dormant for decades, carried on right where it left off. This happened in Siberia and has caused quite a problem for the locals in the area. There are a lot of reindeer farmers out in that area, and what happened is that the disease found its way back into the livestock. Thousands of reindeer became infected, and this eventually moved into the humans. Many people got extremely ill and some even died. The scariest part about all of this is that we never even went looking for this reindeer in the first place. It was actually the cause of global warming. The rising temperatures are what are responsible for the de-thawing process of this reindeer and the catalyst for this outbreak. That's a big problem because it's thought that in the area of Siberia there could be thousands more reindeer in the exact same situation as the carcass that started all of this. Reindeer that have died to anthrax were then frozen and have lay in the ice for decades. These are frozen, ticking time bombs just waiting to thaw out enough and have the bacteria become active again to infect other living organisms. If the people in that area aren't careful, then a massive outbreak could spread, killing potentially thousands. Number 3 on this list are the Children of Llullaillaco. This is a truly horrible story, so fair warning. 3 Inca children's bodies were found in 1999 by Johann Reinhardt and his team of archaeologists. These children were found on the summit of Llullaillaco, which is a mountain on the Argentinian and Chilean border. They were found in a box that was buried underground at the summit of the mountain, and their bodies were basically perfectly preserved. It's believed that this preservation is due to the cold temperatures at the summit of this mountain. Now, it's thought that these children died in the form of a sacrifice. The Inca civilization reached its height in 1530 and then slowly started to decline from the attacks of the Spaniards. The Inca civilization believed heavily in sacrificial rituals as a means of praising their gods. They would often perform sacrifices to commemorate important events or when they were going through harsh times to appease these gods. These sacrifices weren't limited to just adults though. Children were also used when worshipping the gods. Throughout the years, people have found other sacrificial sites and bodies that are presumed to be the work of the Incas. However, no bodies are quite as well preserved as the 3 children found in 1999. Honestly, really sad and scary stuff. Number 2 on this list is White Friday. White Friday was an event that transpired during the First World War on the Italian front. It happened on December 13th in 1916, which is actually surprisingly a Wednesday, but they decided to call it White Friday anyways. What it was a collection of disastrous avalanches that claimed the lives of thousands of soldiers. These avalanches happened all over the front, with the largest one striking the Austro-Hungarian barracks on Mount Marmolanda. That singular avalanche is said to have claimed the lives of 270 soldiers, burying them under meters of snow in the Alps. Due to the nature of these avalanches and just how widespread they were, bodies are still being discovered to this day. With over 2,000 people reported dying and being spread out all over the Alps, it's no wonder that these soldiers are still popping up. It is extremely eerie to find a dead body preserved in ice, but I think it makes it even worse when those bodies are from such a horrible time like World War I. If you happen to be traversing the Alps in the area that these avalanches took place, then for starters, be careful of avalanches, but also keep your eyes out for the remains of World War I soldiers. It's not extremely unlikely to stumble upon them. Number 1 on this list is the Iceman. The Iceman is, as you'd expect, a man. A Stone Age warrior that we've named Otzi. This man was found frozen in the Italian Alps near Austria in 1991. The discovery got worldwide attention when it was first released. This man was estimated to have been frozen 5,300 years ago, so it was a very groundbreaking find when it happened. Very quickly though, rumors of a curse started to circulate. People started to fear that the Iceman was actually angry to have been woken from his 53-century slumber and would have preferred to remain undisturbed in the ice. These rumors didn't just come out of thin air though, they all started with a death. Helmut Simon, the German tourist who discovered the Iceman to begin with, fell to his death whilst he was climbing near the discovery spot due to an avalanche. Then, as his funeral was taking place, Dieter Warneck, the head of the rescue team, died of a heart attack. A few months later, the archaeologist who first inspected the Iceman died as well. Then it was the head of the forensic team who died in a car crash when he was on his way to make a lecture about the Iceman. Then a mountaineer who played a critical role in taking the body out of its frozen location died in another avalanche. Then the journalist who was the one filming the extraction process of the Iceman died as well. And finally, a 7th person, a scientist who was associated with the studies performed on the Iceman, died to natural causes. Now all of these deaths happened within a year of the Iceman's discovery, and all of these people who died were crucial in the Iceman being found in the first place. Some people have chalked it up to a simple coincidence, but a lot of people believe that this ancient man is cursed, that his body and soul wanted to remain in that ice, and the second that it was taken out, the curse was released on those close enough to be affected. Well, there you have it, guys. That is our list of the top 5 terrifying things found frozen in ice. Please let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this list. Also, hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.